Namaskar and good evening. I was asked to sing a song I used to sing during our campaign, but before I sing, I want to share some good news. I just heard this morning that a trafficked Nepali domestic worker got T visa. She is in Nevada. This was only possible because of our partnership with NDWA. Okay, my song says, the meaning of my song, rise up from your homes, rise up from the cities, streets, and legislative to change the law. Whatever you have, if you have brooms, instrument, pens, rise up with this. And if you do not have anything, rise up with your voice. Those with flickering light, rise up with a blaze. Those fighting for justice, rise up as one to change the law. घर घरबाट उठ सहर सहरबाट उठ घर घरबाट उठ सहर सहरबाट उठ यो देशको कानुन फेर्नलाई उठ यो देशको कानुन फेर्नलाई उठ हातमा झाडु हुनेहरू झाडु लिएर उठ बाजा बजाउन जान्नेहरू बाजा लिएर उठ हातमा कलम हुनेहरू कलम लिएर उठ साथमा केही नहुनेहरू आवाज लिएर उठ सडक सडकबाट उठ सदन सदनबाट उठ सडक सडकबाट उठ सदन सदनबाट उठ यो देशको कानुन फेर्नलाई उठ झिल्का झिल्का बल्नेहरू ज्वाला भएर उठ न्यायका लागि लड्नेहरू एकजुट भएर उठ घर घरबाट उठ सहर सहरबाट उठ सडक सडकबाट उठ सदन सदनबाट उठ यो देशको कानुन फेर्नलाई उठ Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. My name is Narbada Chhetri, you already know. I am the Director of Organizing and Advocacy at Adhikar, a New York-based non-profit organization working with Nepali-speaking communities to promote human rights and social justice for all. Before coming to the US, I was a human rights activist in Nepal, but I started my life here as a domestic worker and experienced a lot of discrimination. I wanted to speak up against this discrimination and dehumanization. I wanted to speak up against the discrimination and dehumanization. I had an opportunity to do this work at Adhikar, and I was through this work I met Ai-jen Poo. 6 years ago, in 2008, I went to a New York domestic worker Bill of Rights campaign meeting and met Ai-jen for the first time. Ai-jen was supporting everything at the meeting while others were speaking. She was calm, cool, but very engaged. I did not realize she was the director of Domestic Worker United and one of the leaders of the campaign. In my past experience, directors often sit above and away from the others and are bossy. But Ai-jen was a different leader. She created the space for other leadership. She has also made the space for me. The second time I connected with her at another meeting, my English was not very good still, but she encouraged me to speak up. She taught me that I could overcome language barrier and that I had important experience and ideas to share. I felt I was powerful and could help shape this movement. Sometimes Ai-jen drove a van of domestic workers to Albany to speak to the elected official. Before we started our journey, Ai-jen would want to start with a prayer and holy song. For each trip, the religion of the prayer and song would change to different religions and faith, and I felt she respected all of this equally. I believe in the power of religion and faith to mobilize my own community, and so this experience impacted me in a big way. I have learned from Ai-jen about the type of leader I want to be. One who creates space for others. I admire and appreciate her, especially because she is leading for domestic workers who are isolated, hidden behind the curtain, which is really difficult for many to talk about. I'm really excited to introduce to you this amazing leader who is also my mentor, my friend, and my sister in the movement and beyond. Everyone, please welcome Ai-jen Poo, Director of the National Domestic Workers Alliance and co-director of the Caring Across Generation campaign. Welcome! Thank you for this opportunity.
Can we get another round of applause for Narbada? Breathtaking leader. How's the conference been for all of you? Great. It's really wonderful to see all of you here. I want to begin with honoring the domestic workers in the room and asking all the domestic workers who are here to actually join me up on stage and just introducing yourself and your organization really quickly. Can you come up for a second, please?
Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Linda Olican. I'm the overall coordinator of Damayan, and I'm very happy to be here. I learned a lot, and I am looking towards a more, a stronger relationship between organizing and the scholars, the academic. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lydia Katin Amaya. I'm one of the board member and a full-time staff organizer of Damayan Migrant Workers Association. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Barnard. I am a New York domestic worker for the past 27 years. Proud to be a domestic worker.
Hi, I'm Erica Cohen-Taub. I'm a nanny, and I also do organizing with Jews for Racial and Economic Justice.
Hey everyone, my name is Allison Julian. I've been a nanny for over 20 years, and I'm also a leader in the domestic worker movement.
Hello everyone, my name is Barbara Young. I was a domestic worker for 16 years, and now I'm with the National Domestic Workers Alliance as an organizer.
Hi, most of you already saw me up. I'm Luna Ranjit with Adhikar organizing Nepali-speaking domestic workers.
Hi everyone, Leah OBS with Damayan Migrant Workers Association.
Hi everyone, I'm Raji. I work with Adhikar, providing direct service to domestic workers in the community, and I get to work with Narbada every day, so be jealous.
Namaste again, Narbada Chhetri, Director of Organizing and Advocacy. Thank you.
My name is Eileen McGlynn, and I've worked in the domestic industry for probably 25 years in Colorado and Alaska, and I knew this convention was going to get me emotional because of a person of privilege in America with a upper middle class background, and I attended NYU for almost 2 years ago. If that woman has alliances with people from all kinds of backgrounds, that is what's coming up in the future as far as this growing inequality, in the global corporations and their effect on everything. And I always tell my son, who is Alaska Native, that whatever you do in life, it has to come full circle and somehow impact the minority with the minority, which is natives in America. And I'm here basically not representing anyone other than myself, though I've always been involved with causes, and it's because of this woman and reading about her and the new Cesar Chavez, basically. And so I'm just here because 10 days ago I found out about this convention, and I said I have to go, even if it's impacting my paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, that I have to come. So that's why I'm here.
My name is Adriana Escandon, and I have the privilege to work for and with domestic workers, undocumented, most of them, of the Latin American community, New Immigrant Community Empowerment, NICE.
My name is Jessica Garcia. I'm the daughter of a domestic worker, and I also have the privilege of working with Adriana and our domestic workers at NICE.
Hi, my name is Lydia Edwards. I'm the implementation coordinator for the Massachusetts Coalition for Domestic Workers. Those organizations include the Brazilian Immigrant Center, the Brazilian Women's Group, Matahari Eye of the Day, the Dominican Development Center, and WILD.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Araceli Herrera, soy trabajadora doméstica por 24 años en Estados Unidos, pero en México ya era desde que tenía 9 años trabajadora doméstica.
Hi, my name is Araceli. I'm with Domestic Workers United in San Antonio, Texas, and I've been a domestic worker for 24 years. I began when I was... Oh, also when I was a child as well, I took care of children as a child.
Y estoy muy agradecida que las personas tan preparadas están haciendo este estudio para nosotras. Muchas gracias.
And I'm so grateful for researchers who are doing this study for us and that you're prepared and able to support us in this work. Thank you.
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Alejandra Oliva. Soy de San Antonio, Texas. Soy organizadora de las Domésticas Unidas y soy promotora de salud.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Alejandra. I'm also from San Antonio, Texas. I am an organizer and a health promoter as well.
Hello. My name is Rosa San Luis. My organization is Domésticas del Valle from Texas, Harlingen, Texas. And I am very proud to be part of National Domestic Workers Alliance. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monica Bradford. I was nanny for 21 years and a proud member of Domestic Workers United.
Hi, my name is Tamika Atkins. I work with the National Domestic Workers Alliance in Atlanta, and I'm happy and proud to spend the last 2 years organizing primarily African American domestic workers and integrating them into the work that we're doing nationally.
My name is Karina Muñiz. I'm with Mujeres Unidas y Activas in the Bay Area. Very privileged and honored to be able to work with so many amazing domestic worker leaders from our organization, and I'm holding them in my heart, and I will bring back all the information here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mechthild Hart. I'm a member of the Latino unit in the Chicago Coalition of Household Workers. And we put a research proposal together that was totally the work of our core group of workers. So I hope someone takes it up.
These are the leaders who are making history right now in communities around the country. Thank you all. So this conference is about justice in the home, domestic work, past, present, and future. And it feels like a little bit of a family reunion, like this is your life as a movement. I look around and I see people like Nahar Alam. Is Nahar here today? Nahar Alam was one of the first organizers of domestic workers here in New York City, founder of Andalan, organizing South Asian workers. And I see people like Saskia Sassen and Peggy Smith and Nick Theodore and Grace Chang and so many scholars who have just, Mary Romero, who have just so shaped my thinking as a domestic worker organizer for the past few decades, beginning this work. And to be back here at Barnard College, where we held our first national conference as the National Domestic Workers Alliance. Thank you so much to the Barnard Center for Research on Women and Janet for your leadership. You've been such wonderful partners to us over the years. Thank you. I also want to give a special shout out to all the staff at Barnard and the interpreters in the room who've really done the work to make this gathering possible. Thank you so much. And before I go any further, I really want to recognize a very important mentor to me, the woman whose leadership made this whole conference possible, and for us to be able to come together in this way, the one and only Linda Burnham. Thank you, Linda. That's right. My talk today is going to focus on our movement and what we're actually doing and where we're going. And you all are extended family to us. Many of you have been a part of our growth over the years, and so it feels really important as an opportunity to touch base and think about how we grow together. So, as many of you know, especially the women who were on this stage with me, the work of organizing domestic workers is very difficult work. It's slow, it's incremental. Gathering a group of workers in a room, breaking through the many fears and challenges that would keep them from coming together is still challenging despite the huge need and the tremendous progress that we've made. But we have been building and organizing, undoubtedly, and as a result, today, the National Domestic Workers Alliance is 45 member organizations strong, with representation in 19 states and 28 cities around the country. And we've seen tremendous policy successes, and we've talked about many of those at the city and county level, victories in 4 states that have created new protections and shored up the floor for this critical workforce in our economy. The Domestic Workers' Bills of Rights, now in 4 states. Regulatory change for home care workers, protecting 1.8 million home care workers and caregivers who have spent the last 75 years excluded from some of the most fundamental protections. And we believe it to be the biggest victory for low-wage workers of the Obama administration. That is going to into effect January 1st. The ILO Convention 189 on decent work for domestic workers, now ratified by 14 countries around the world. All of these victories were won through organizing, through the difficult work of bringing women together to build our power and elevate our voices. Many of the women in this room were part of making that history. And could I just ask all of you who are part of these campaigns, whether you're a domestic worker, affiliate, or not, to just raise your hand so we could see the village that it takes to make these victories possible. Please raise your hands if you were part of one of these campaigns and victories. I know a lot of you were over here. Yes, yes. And it was domestic workers taking days off from work, which also meant sacrificing days' wages, to travel to Sacramento or Albany to tell their stories, to march, to do the domestic slide in front of the state capitol. It was those workers and their courage and tenacity that inspired the support of people like the presidents of the AFL-CIO, both John Sweeney and Rich Trumka, and many, many others. And the way that we organized, emphasizing our interconnectedness and our interdependence, and our common interest in bringing respect to the work of caring for families, allowed for employers to join our movement. Today, Jews for Racial and Economic Justice and Hand in Hand Domestic Employers Association are some of our most important strategic partners. Our Hand in Hand and JFRG members here today, just want to recognize you. So this is my opportunity to really say thank you to all of you who have been our partners in building this movement, and to those of you who came into this area of scholarship through a commitment to supporting our movement to grow. And here's why I want to thank you. There are all the obvious reasons. It takes a village, as I said, and a really broad movement to make real change. Of course, we need each other, and ultimately we're in this together, and all have a stake in this work receiving the respect that it's due. But I want to say thank you on a deeper level. The work of trying to build a movement, change policy, change lives, change the public narrative in this crazy political environment with such extreme political and economic inequality is really difficult. It's uneven. It's messy, it's imperfect. There are a lot of tough negotiations inside of a context that we did not create. And there are as many failures as there are victories, and I'm sure that we've talked a lot about the challenges that we faced. And I want to say thank you, because when all is said and done, you have not only studied and celebrated with us, you have stood with us and for us, made sure that we weren't isolated and alone in this project. And there is no greater gift to a young movement, particularly a movement of women of color, working class and poor women who are in motion, trying to lead in trying times. So thank you. So here's what I know we do well as a movement. We are great at elevating the voices and leadership of domestic workers. We are really good at winning policy and getting better. Real policy change that supports women at the very bottom of the economy, right, Lydia? We are really good at connecting the stories of domestic workers to a much broader story about what our society and economy needs, such that everyone can start to see their story in ours. And we are good at thinking about solutions and strategies that bring broad cross-sections of this population, this country, together. Those strengths have enabled us to build and win quite a bit. In addition to the policy wins I named before, we now have national infrastructure and capacity. It's even connected to a global federation of domestic workers, right, Fish? Shout out to the International Domestic Workers Federation and to Jill Schenker on our staff for leading that work. We have state-level infrastructure and capacity. We have good victories under our belt and have built a really strong bench of domestic worker leaders and organizers around the country who are in motion and building. But it is simply not enough. Given the vast numbers of unorganized workers and the challenges and opportunities of our time, given unprecedented levels of inequality and poverty, the expansion of low-wage work, changing racial and generational demographics, the pending climate disaster, we need to be much, much more powerful and strategic and ambitious. And given that, what we are focused on as a movement now is twofold. One, organizing to build real power and scale as a movement. And two, we are focused on developing and winning policy change that will make a structural difference in our economy and democracy, specifically seizing upon the opportunity to shape the future of caregiving in America. In terms of building our power, what we mean is how do we turn this beautiful alliance of 45 local affiliate organizations into statewide powerhouses that are able to shape and drive policy change in every state in this country? How do we continue to develop the deep leadership of domestic workers while getting to scale at a different level? Our official goal is to reach 250,000 members in the next 5 years. 250,000 domestic workers in the next 5 years. Let me hear some applause here for that goal. It's an ambitious goal, si se puede. Some of our affiliate directors were here from around the country in New York helping us develop the plan to get us there. We are running a dozen experiments in organizational models that are scalable, including small circle organizing, offering new member services and benefits, utilizing smartphone technology and revenue strategies to resource the growth of our work independent of philanthropy to help get us there. So we've got plans, we've got experiments, we've got organizing in motion all over the country. We're also planning on expanding organizing among direct care workers more broadly in partnership with Direct Care Alliance state associations around the country. And in terms of shaping the future, it includes continuing to secure the floor for the most vulnerable workers in our sector. And it includes bringing the workforce to the table and really shaping the future of the care industry, strengthening our economy and democracy for the future through our movement building work across issues and constituencies. Concretely, what do I mean by all of that? Well, in terms of really shoring up the floor and protecting the most vulnerable in our sector, we're going to continue to work to establish basic rights and protections for domestic workers around the country, but we're looking to really take that work to the next level, as you've heard some already. Worker-led enforcement campaigns, bills of rights 2.0, everything from paid days off to higher wages, to workforce training, to establishing new mechanisms for negotiation between workers and employers on an ongoing basis. Now in California, our members are engaged in a massive enforcement education and organizing drive where they're educating workers about their new right to overtime while signing up domestic workers at hotspots that they've identified through census data and focus grouping domestic workers. And a shout out to the Stanford students that actually ran that data for us and made that possible. Yes. Partnering with academics everywhere. On Sunday, right here in New York and right here in this room, New York domestic workers will be coming together again for a convention to talk about a New York campaign to take the next big step forward for domestic workers right here in New York City. Round of applause and encouragement for domestic workers in New York. Our anti-trafficking campaign called Beyond Survival, anchored by Damayan Migrant Workers Association, ADICAR, and Casa de Maryland, focuses on developing the leadership of trafficking survivors to directly impact trafficking policy debates. Not only are we working to establish and strengthen rights and protections for this workforce, but we are working on winning immigration relief for the undocumented. We are organizing with women around the country through our campaign called We Belong Together to provide a platform for women to engage immigrant rights as a key women's equality issue for the 21st century. Not only is immigration reform core to women's equality and workers' rights, but it is also about the strength of our democracy and the ability of our democracy to provide a real voice to the people of this country. And we have a unique opportunity with this administration to win relief and work authorization for millions of undocumented workers, including domestic workers, and we have to be full court press to make that happen. Another key piece related to both our organizing and strengthening our democracy will be lifting off our Black organizing project. Beginning with our work to build our Atlanta chapter, Tamika, our Atlanta chapter director, we will be focusing in on how we strengthen and support the organizing of Black women from Atlanta, Georgia to Ferguson, Missouri. We see the organizing and leadership of Black women as central to the future we want to create in this country. And we see a really unique moment in the movement to create economic opportunity for women once and for all, particularly poor and low-income women. Our campaign with other women's organizations is called Make It Work, and it's about spending the next 3 years trying to push through a tipping point in the public debate and in the public policy on policy that improves the lives of working families. Paid sick days, paid family leave, child care, equal pay. These are issues that women have organized for forever. And we have a moment here where we can actually see some of that structural change happen and update our policy to meet some of the economic realities of working families today. And finally, our campaign about caregiving in America, caring across generations. We want to shape the future of care in America in a way that both strengthens domestic workers and home care workers while strengthening access to affordable, quality care for millions of American families around the country. Now, this is a particularly timely moment for this effort as the silver tsunami takes hold and baby boomers turn 65 at a rate of 10,000 people per day, and people are living longer than ever, such that the fastest growing demographic in our population is 87 and older. We are about to have the largest older population we've ever had, and that's a good thing. It's an opportunity to live longer, connect longer, work longer, and it's an opportunity to create millions of great new care jobs and a whole new care infrastructure in this country to support workers and families. I wrote a book about this coming care opportunity called Age of Dignity. And it is about the opportunity that we have as a nation to embrace the fact that we are living longer as an opportunity to transform our caregiving policy in this country, our culture, and our relationships across generations. It's coming out in February, and I'll be going on a book tour called Caring Across America, working with our affiliates and partners around the country to elevate the caregiving stories and the policy solutions they are developing, highlighting the great work that's happening everywhere. You can support us in this effort right now by pulling out your phone. If you have your phone, pull it out and text the following number: 646-481-2591. Again, that's 481-2591. You know how we said we're doing a lot of experiments? This is one of them, this texting thing. You will be sent a link to the book's website where you can purchase the book and donate books to domestic workers, as well as, yes, 646-481-2591. 481-2591. So we can provide books to domestic workers, and you can sign up on our list and stay updated about the upcoming tour and other news. I'll also be fundraising for our newly established Domestic Worker Fellowship Program that we are establishing with some help of the MacArthur Foundation. And the fellowship will enable domestic workers to work with the National Domestic Workers Alliance to really be at the table, shaping public policy, all of these campaigns that we're working on, organizing and leading the way. In that context, it's in that context that I ask for your help. And actually what we really need is your strategic partnership. As workers and organizers, we do bring a lot to the table. As women, mostly immigrant women and African American women, living in the shadows, working at the bottom of the economy, our experiences actually have become more and more relevant to more and more people in this country. And the reality is that the domestic worker reality, vulnerability, long hours, low wages, increasingly shapes more and more of our American workforce today, as we've already discussed. And it's in that context that for the last 20 years, we have been organizing and finding solutions and telling our stories in a way that is changing the future. We've been living the future in both good and hard ways. And what's clear to us now that given all of that experience, that this country needs the leadership of domestic workers now more than ever before. And this movement will rise to the occasion. And in order to do that, we need your partnership. As scholars and academics, you bring unique experience and expertise to the table. Which we really need because we're actually very serious about leading on solutions, about a new social contract, about transforming the women's movement, the labor movement, about a new economy, building a new economy from the bottom up, and about really exercising our power. There are big questions ahead in each of our campaigns, including how do we create a policy model that brings the workforce out of the shadows while not increasing the vulnerability of undocumented? What is a 21st century framework for a social safety net when over 30% of the workforce in this country is in a non-traditional employment situation? Contingent, part-time, self-employed, temporary work, more than 30% of our workforce. How can we generate real data on the size of this workforce? Nick Theodore and others Annette Bernhard have been helping us grapple with this question, and we're still grappling with it. We need help. What is our side's version of SB 1070? Is there a state-level policy that we can fight for that expands protections for undocumented caregivers? What is the best way to document and share the lessons in multiracial organizing that we're developing? How do we begin to map the many actors in the industry, including the new actors like online marketplaces? And what are the trends that will shape the future of this industry? Will robots take over caregiving? How can we shape the conversation about tech innovation in a way that really reflects our values of dignity and opportunity and interdependence? We need research and thought partners that help us gather the data, analyze the trends, and develop the new frameworks and solutions that can help us make real progress in organizing and shaping the future. Just like the president has the National Intelligence Council analyzing megatrends and the implications for his governance, we need your help in helping us build and exercise our power as a movement as effectively and sharply as possible. But it actually only works in the context of a real partnership. And a real partnership to us means really being in it with us. It means really understanding and grappling with what we're doing and why. It means really being with us in all the challenges and tensions that go along with trying to build a movement of real people in really challenging times. Domestic workers really are taking center stage in the midst of a lot of change and challenge in this country, and we're doing it really, really well. We're doing it by doing some of the things that we've always done: base building, leadership development, campaigns. And there's a lot that we're trying that's totally new. New experiments, caretango.com, experiments in building social enterprises, experiments in culture change work with the celebration of Grandparents' Day. These are experiments not only for our movement, but for all social change movements and all of us who seek to shape the future in a way that really uplifts humanity and workers. We need partners who will really work with us and learn with us and make mistakes with us. We believe it will make us all stronger and our solutions way better, way more practical, and way more powerful. So we hope that tomorrow is the day of really digging in and talking to our organizers about the work on the ground and the real research questions that are needed, that we're grappling with, the work that we want to do together. So it's really the first step in moving all of that forward. And I want to just say thank you for taking that big step with us. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal that we're having this kind of a partnership. And it will be a critical piece of the work to create justice in the home, and as we collectively work to make this country feel more like home for everyone. Thank you very, very much.